For those of you who have already worked through much of this course and have gotten started with part 7, where you build a startup, a software as a service application, I wanted to show you how you could migrate your work over from Nitrous or wherever you were coding into Cloud9. Okay, so once you're logged into Cloud9, get logged in first. You'll be here at your workspaces folder or page, and you want to go ahead and open up your IDE screen. So just click this open button for the workspace that you want to be working in. So I'm going to click open, and here we go. We're inside the IDE screen, and you may or may not have started adding, projects into this folder, but that's okay. What we're going to do is clone our project from GitHub. So if you have made your way through part 7 and you've gotten started with the application there, it's very easy to kind of copy your code over. The first thing we need to do, however, is the same setup steps we did in Nitrous, where we actually install, git, and configure it for the first time. Okay, so what we're going to do is just type a few special commands here. So to configure Git, we only have to do this once for any new workspace we're working on. So since we haven't configured it yet here, if you haven't done it yet, this is how we do it. So we'll type git space config and then -- global and then user.name, and then go ahead and just put your name there. Okay, and then hit enter. And then the same thing with your email address. So you want to do git space config -- global and then user.email, and then you want to put your email address in there. Just like that, in quotation marks. And then you would hit enter. And then finally you'll want to type this command in, git space config -- global and then push.default matching, just like that, and then hit enter. Okay, so those are the same exact Git steps that we took when we were getting started with the SaaS app. So if you've already started with that software as a service app, but you're migrating to Cloud9, then this is when you would need to do this. Okay, so you only have to do this once per every workspace that you work on. And then finally, what we're going to do is just a few other commands here. Okay, what we need to do is get our public key from this workspace and then install it into GitHub. So the way we do that is with this special command right here. I just pasted it in. You can just pause the screen and type that out. So it's cat and then space ~.ssh, so on. So make sure you type that in, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And you'll see it outputs this entire kind of string for us. Okay, so what you want to do is then copy that entire string, okay, and then Command-C on a Mac, Control-C on PC, and then go over to GitHub. So make sure you're logged into GitHub. I'm logged in here. This is kind of the main page. And you want to go to your user here and click your profile. Okay, sorry, you want to go to user and then you want to go to settings. Okay, you want to get to your personal settings. And then what you're going to do is go to SSH keys, and then right here you want to say add SSH key, okay, and then you're just going to title that Cloud9, just like that, and then paste that entire key in there. Okay, make sure you don't have a trailing space at the end of it. You just want that entire key dropped in there, and then just click add key, just like that. Okay, so now if we go back to our IDE screen here, and we should be all configured and good to go. What you need to do now is go back to GitHub and go over to, you can click the logo to get to your main page, and you want to go find your project app repository that you've been working on, okay? So once you find it, if you look to the right, you'll see this little git clone URL. That's what you're looking for. You want to be able to clone the project that you've been working on here, okay? And you want to hit this SSH link right here so that you're not cloning an HTTPS link. You want to make sure you grab the SSH URL. So I'm going to copy that by clicking this and then hitting Command-C or Control-C for Windows. And then I go back here. And then right here I'm going to type, okay, we need to be inside this workspace folder. Remember, this doubles as workspace. You could just imagine that it actually says workspace instead of what it says there. And we want to say cd space workspace, just like that. Okay. And then from here, we're going to type git space clone and then paste in that URL that we just copied. Okay. So I'm going to hit enter. And then it'll ask to confirm. You want to just say yes and hit enter. And there we go. We've just cloned our project and we have it sitting right there. I can now jump in there from this workspace folder. I'm right here, so if I want to jump in, I can see the name of that folder is right there, simple codecast. So I just do cd space simple, and if I just hit the tab key, I can auto complete it and hit enter, and there we go. I'm on the master branch. Okay, so I can switch to any of my other branches. I have to create them again. So if you've gotten to the point where you're creating branches, you just do git checkout and then -b, and then whatever branch name you want to be working on, like contact form, you hit enter, and then you'll want to pull all of that down if you want to continue working on that branch. So git pull origin contact underscore form and hit enter. It'll ask you to confirm again, possibly. If it does, just always say yes to these confirmation messages here with this git workflow. And there we go. It just pulled all of the latest from there. And then again, we can just run the Rails server. Remember, in Cloud9, running the server is a little bit different from normal, so you want to do it like this. You want to say bundle exec Rails server, and then -p, and then $port, and then -b, $IP. And then if I hit enter, it looks like we need to run bundle install. So let's go ahead and do that. That's always a good habit to do anyway. So bundle install. And we're actually going to have to run one other thing. We need to do our migration as well over here. Okay, so I'm going to do bundle exec rake db :migrate. And there we go. All the migrations have happened. And then now we can run that Rails server command. So if I hit the up arrow a few times on my keyboard, I'll go back to that server command. And just remember, Rails server here in Cloud9, you always just append this little chunk of code. If I hit enter, let's see what happens this time. And it says my application is running, and we can just hit this preview tab, and then there we go. We can see it. Now, if you've gotten to the point where, and you can just drag that tab up, if you've gotten to the point where you've created plans in the web application that you're building, that SaaS app, then you need to just add those into your local database here again. Okay, so the way you can do that, we can just open another workspace tab here. So I'm going to hit that plus sign and then a new terminal tab. And then I want to jump back into this Rails app here that we cloned. So cd from here, since I'm already inside workspace, which is what this folder is, I just type cd space simple codecast SaaS. So hit enter, and here we go. We need to jump into the Rails console and add those plans again. That's why we're getting this error here. Those plans don't exist right now. So we do bundle exec Rails C, or you can spell out console, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna hit enter. And then we did this already. If you've gotten to this point in the course, we did this. We just do capital P and then plan like that, and then create. And we want to do two plans. We want to create a basic one, so we'll do that one first. Set the price to 0. And then plan.create name : pro price 10. Okay, and just pause the screen if you need to write those two commands down. All we're doing is inserting them into the database. So I'm going to hit enter now. And there we go. I've added both of those plans. Now if I go over here and refresh this, okay, and you can't use your key command like Command R to refresh, you just have to push this here. There you go. We'll see we've got the application up and running smoothly now. And I can go down here and exit from this console just by typing exit, just like that. So remember, you don't need to type these things in if you didn't get that error, because that means you haven't gotten that far yet in the software as a service application. And keep in mind, if you're struggling with this process, it really isn't that challenging to go back and kind of recode the app. In fact, I would recommend it. Building it again, because the more you build this out, the more you start to get familiar and oriented with how these applications work. Finally, I want to add something for those of you who have been working on this project application and you made an error in one of your branches and you want to kind of backtrack to a previous branch that you know was working. I want to show you the workflow to do that really quick. So what you can do is down here, as you can see, I switched into this contact form branch and we did that pull to pull everything down. Now, if you notice though, it's really just pulled all of the latest that I have so far. But what I can do is this special command where I can say git reset -- hard and then origin / and just whatever branch name, okay, that I want to reset to. So if I were to reset this to the contact form branch, okay, that's saved over here in GitHub. Whatever the latest was, and you can kind of scroll through your branches right here when you click on this. If I want to go back to the state of the application where it was here, then all I have to do is write this command that you're seeing here, and then simply hit enter. And there you go, you'll see that the application has changed to a totally different state. And if I go back and refresh this now, you'll see the application looks totally different. And obviously there would be changes that I would have to then go in and make. Just because the application that I was resetting from was so much further along. Now, one other thing you can do too is just remember, if you want to see this out in a different browser tab, you just click this button right here. That's a nice kind of shorthand way, and it'll give you that URL there. You can get rid of all of this after that, and there you go. So just remember, you can use this little tactic to go back to one of your branches that you know is in good shape. And if you're getting an error when you run that command, you may need to just get rid of any unstaged changes. So to do that, you can just type git stash like that, and it'll stash away any changes. And then you can type git reset -- hard and then origin branch name. If you want to go back to your master branch, just the latest state of master, you would do this. And what's happening is it's resetting my branch here in Cloud9 to whatever I set over here. Okay, so now contact form has actually just grabbed the latest from master. Okay, and if you go back here and refresh, you can always see your changes. So that's a little bit about kind of going back and migrating your work from Nitrous over to Cloud9. But just remember, it never hurts to go back and actually just write this stuff out from scratch again. The more you do it, the better.